So I'm trying to do a fucking what is it? Clickbait thing. I don't even know what it's called. Okay. So we are going to get into the story of what I was diagnosed with and how I'm dealing with it. So for the longest time, I have been hiding a secret from you. I am actually borderline schizophrenic. And if you wouldn't have guessed schizophrenic, in the comments below, can you tell me what sort of mental disorder you think I would have had if I wasn't schizophrenic? And for many years, I have tried to understand it, but I want someone on the not so borderline and actually like diagnosed and lives with it on a daily basis to tell me like what's going on. Because personally, I can't sleep. I can't sleep. I can't eat. And I hate to be the guy to point fingers after pointing fingers. But I'm struggling. I'm struggling in school. I'm struggling in parenting. I'm struggling mentally and physically. But I just wanted to share a story time with you guys about so we're just gonna jump into it. I tried to make this video like 10 times, and we just kept replaying it, and it just kept sounding fucking corny and like, but I need to get this off of my chest because I'm not doing good at all. For many years, I put it off as I'm just a girl who deals with normal girl things. But now that I like look into it and I'm hearing like all my friends' stories and something just isn't adding up. So nice to meet you. I'm Deja Gamble. I'm a First Nations Canadian. And some people would like to call me Indian, but I just think that's harsh. Like, harsh. Just because of the racial slurs that have been added to the word Indian, that I don't even like to go by like Indian. So I'm First Nations. Nice to meet you. But this is gonna be a story about how I met the love of my life. No, this is a story. This is a story that I feel like will help a lot of people who are going through things that I'm going through. So let's get into it. We're gonna set the mood, put on a hoodie, and we're just gonna talk. I put off this video because people are gonna look at me and think, oh my God, you're racist. Oh my God, you're looking for attention. But the truth of the matter of fact is, if you don't want to be on my page, click off. But for those of you who are still here watching, yeah, I was diagnosed with borderline schizophrenia. And I haven't even done research on what that means. So I can't even remember. But a hyperactive imagination. And so a hyperactive imagination, and why I've been labeled schizophrenic. So, here's the rundown. I had a really bad day at school, so I went to talk to my mom. And remember, I'm only in grade maybe the 9th or 10th grade. And I'm dealing with hearing things. I'm going to school with my hoodie up, my head down. Well, not my hoodie up, but my head down, and I'm going there to learn. The second I walk into this building, my high school building, and if many of you don't know, I went to about 6 different high schools before I realized this place wasn't for me. But I get to high school. I walk in. It's quiet. And suddenly, all the kids start talking at once. And I'm looking at people's mouths. I'm a mouth reader, okay? If some people don't know this, I look at the mouth and then I look at the eyes and I study the face. So I go into the school and I'm hearing people's talking. And right away, I look at people's mouths and they're not even talking to each other. They're just sitting there. And I'm like, whoa. Like, that was a lot to be bombarded with on the first day of high school. So, this was around September, I'm not gonna lie. And school starts. And I had a bad day at school. It wasn't my classmates. It wasn't anything. I'm triggered by the littlest thing. Like, if the lighting in the room is too romantic or too dim, I get uncomfortable. If it's too bright, actually I like bright lights. My room, I had to change my light to an LED light. But if it's if there's more boys than there are girls and vice versa, if there's more girls than boys, I get uncomfortable. But on this particular day, I had science. And I can't remember if I had science with Mr. Frasian or this other science teacher. I can't even remember his name. And I leave school that day. I go home, I bus home. I live in a totally other district. And I'm busing 2 buses, which is an hour, 45 minutes, whatever, to another school district because I didn't want to be in my school district. I was annoyed. I was tired of it. I didn't want to be with the same classmates I went to in elementary school. And we'll get back to that in a whole nother video or maybe at the end of this video. But I was so ready for high school that I was so prepared. I was like, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna go get my education, and I'm gonna fucking finish this shit. And instantly, clicky. So I'm like, whatever. I'm a sports girl. So instantly I start signing up for basketball, volleyball. I start questioning when's cheer, when's dance. And instantly we're going to get into this story about why I left in the first place. So I go to the doctors, I go to the RUH, and I walk into the hospital. And immediately, I start panicking because the waiting room is full of people, sick people. And instantly, I'm hearing wheezing, I'm hearing coughing, I'm hearing mucusy and phlegmy, and I'm hearing sniffles, and I'm seeing red faces and fevers and this and that and broken arms, and my brain just snaps, and I start crying. And I go, and the doctor's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm depressed. And the nurse looks at me and she's like, okay, come in, we'll talk. She shuts the curtain. My mom is with me. And she's like, what's going on? And I instantly look at her and I said, I'm hearing things. And she looks at me and she's like you're hearing me talk? And I was like, I looked at her and I was like, no, like I'm hearing something. I don't know whether they're memories. I don't know whether they're past comments. I don't know whether the time travelers caught up to me, okay? But I'm hearing something. And when I'm home alone, I'll hear on the wall. And this is when I lived in a house, no roommates, besides like my parents and my brother, but no duplex, so there's not no thin wall dividing us up. And I'm hearing tapping, and I'm hearing scratching on the walls. I'm hearing like plastic being thrown around. And I'm just on the verge of having a mental breakdown. So I look at my nurse and I say, I need medication like right now. She's like, I'm not understanding. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna have a fucking mental breakdown. I'm gonna freak out if you don't get my meds to me. And she's like, you have meds? And I was like, dude, I don't know. And she starts making lists and she's like jotting, and she's like, okay, I need your mom to fill this out. I need you to fill this out. I need you to initial here, sign here. Instantly, I start signing these papers. I'm like skimming through these notes, and they're like saying like, everything you tell me is true. This isn't confidential. This is a totally confidential. Like, if you are gonna post this, but don't tell them everything. So I get into this and I'm like, yes, I sign, I initial, whatever I'm doing to get me my medication as soon as possible. And this is before I even realized what was going on with the world around us. So if you are the type of person who doesn't believe in sci-fi and doesn't believe in extraterrestrial life, then maybe this isn't the video for you, but keep watching and I'll explain my diagnosis in a moment. So I'm sitting in this hospital bed. I'm freaking out because I can't control my thoughts. And this nurse is like talking to me, and she's like, do you remember me? Like, are there certain things like you can depict from life and like afterlife? And I'm like, I don't know, but like stuff is happening. Things are moving around in front of me, and I don't know how to feel. And she comes up to me and she's like, okay, this is normal. I think you're just bipolar right now, but things might get intense. Things can get better. But she's like, I need you to stay calm as possible. So I wait in this room for about 2 hours. A doctor comes and talks to me, and he's like, can we talk in front of your mom? I look at him and I'm like, of course, this is my mother. So he comes and he talks, and he's asking me these questions. And then it gets personal. It gets so personal. And he's like asking me about like self-harm scars, and he's asking me about like eating habits and like my gender preference, and do I like boys or girls. And I'm honest with him. I tell him everything, every fucking thing, from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, from the first time I got a fucking dog. And I can't stress this enough, but healthcare professionals are there for a reason. And we're going to get into mental health because some people don't think mental health is an actual disability. And I'm here to tell you it's a disability. I see kids in class struggling with ADHD, bipolar, depression, and they're afraid to talk to mental health professionals like a psychiatrist or a psychologist. A psychologist. A psychologist. And like, I like tell him, I'm like, this is hurting me. I'm like, I'm in pain being here. Like, mental pain. And he's like, why? And I was like, it's just like logic has gone out the window and fucking onto another planet. And he's like, oh, that bad. And I'm like talking with my doctor, and I'm like, yeah, it's that bad. And I'm like trying to like explain to him like why I'm feeling so depressed and what I've been doing to try and make myself feel better. And he continues on with all this. You're going through changes. You're going through preteen years. Well, doctor, I'm here to tell you I'm 23 and I'm still mentally fucked up. And it's not your fault. The medications, it's my mental health. And I want to talk about mental health with you because nobody seems to be talking about it. So what is mentality? Does anybody know? Mentality is how you view yourself. Mentality is how you think, your thinking process. Mentality is how you decide to get dressed up every day. Mentality is your room behind you. I'm not gonna lie and sit here and say like, oh, I'm this like grown woman, I know what I'm talking about. No, I had kids at a young age. I fell in love. The asshole didn't love me, so I got left with a kid. But the problem is I'm depressed. And before you sit here and like, you're making yourself depressed, or, you know, like, you can always go for a walk. Like, yeah, like, oh, like I haven't tried that before. But I'm so serious when I say I am so unhappy with the world around me. And I don't know whether it's because I've decided on what I wanted to do with my life. I don't know whether it's because of the colors I wear. I don't know. But coming from someone who has been suicidal their whole life, I don't see myself ever getting any better. I see myself following in the same footsteps as the devil. And what I mean by that is the devil wasn't a good guy. I'm not a good guy. I'm going to tell you that now. But I need you to understand, just because I'm okay with telling you not a good person, doesn't mean that there are bad people out there that have no problem putting on a face mask and saying, hi, I'm really nice and I'm a good person. You know? And when it comes down to who I am as a person, it's everywhere. My life is chaotic. I'm so vividly angry at the world around me that I have put myself in a depressive state that where I'd rather be on YouTube talking to myself than out there at the club making a bunch of fake friends. It's just who I am. And the more I try and be like this happy person and I'm fast talking and I love my life and everything about it, the reality of it all is I haven't been happy since I was a little girl. And maybe that's where my soul rests. Maybe something happened to me as a little girl. Maybe I became like this person who just didn't want to be here. I don't know. But whatever the case may be, I'm still here. And I'm still fighting. And I'm still rooting for the people in the back. And I'm still exhausted. And this isn't like I'm gonna off myself video. No, this is me coming to you and telling you who I am as a person. Because after all the flashing lights and the hidden text messages and the encrypted codes, I'm over it. I'm exhausted. I'm so fragile to a point where I won't even break. And that's saying something, especially for a person who has never talked their whole life, to come on here and say, wow, this place is trash. I gave it the benefit of the doubt, and I don't even know why I stuck around this long. Maybe it was the whiskey, or maybe it was the Jack, but I'm so unfucking happy here. And YouTube was my place. Social media was my place. But now, a bunch of people are coming online and like, I'm sorry, and putting on this whole act. Bro, cut the act. We know who you are. We know how you act. And if I have to be the bully in this situation and tell you to just F off, so what? But for real, like, some people have been making me feel really uncomfortable. And my doctor advised me to stay away from those people. So I'm going to. And if you reach out to me, I will take this to court. If you, like, even try and contact me, I will call the police and write a report against you because I'm done kissing ass just to get fucking more ass. You know, like the the egotistical part of me wants to say I'm done and like hang myself, but the other part of me is trying to tell you